Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra Sunday and our Be Mindful special on caregivers' mental health. In this segment, we're focusing on those who provide care to the men and women who served in the armed forces who may be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. Joining me now is Ron Jackson with El Paso Behavioral Health System. Ron, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, give me a layman's definition of PTSD.
Okay, so PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress syndrome, and it actually is caused by a person that's actually went through an emotional significant event or some type of trauma that they experienced or actually witnessed. If it's combat, like combat or some type of abuse or even a serious accident, which will cause them to have flashbacks and lasting effects to the emotional state. So it causes flashbacks and anger issues, and depression too. So.
Okay, that's I was going to ask what some of the symptoms of PTSD are.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And of course, they also have unpredictability with their emotional state when something has been triggered, when that is actually active.
Now, according to a survey from the nonprofit RAND Corporation, nearly 20% of caregivers for veterans are younger. They're more likely to be employed. They're more likely to care for someone with a mental health or substance abuse disorder. Are you seeing that trend at your agency?
Yes. So the caregivers, and when you say caregivers, everybody automatically think a nurse or something like that. But a caregiver can be a brother, sister, husband, wife, and sometimes, of course, you know, the younger generation is what's getting in the military. You get in the military at 18 years old, you go to combat, and you experience combat. Now you got post-traumatic stress syndrome to the point to where you're not highly functionable anymore. And you have to have a caregiver, which probably is your spouse or your sister or your brother, which is almost the same age as you, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the biggest challenge for a caregiver for someone who is suffering from PTSD?
So some of the challenges is burnout is one of them, and actually balancing, since that's the younger generation, balancing caregiving, work, and actually managing their own family. And also another one is managing their own emotions, making sure that they know that they have someone to reach out to, because normally that person is actually going through that alone, or there's no support to them, or they think there's no support to them while they're actually caring for that loved one, sir.
So then what are some of the other signs of burnout that may be, that a caregiver may be dealing with?
Yeah, so some of the burnout is they'll have relationship problems because of the lack of communication, or they're actually living on edge. And sometimes they think that they're the only person that's actually caring for this person, and so they'll put themselves on the back burner. And what happens is they're not taking care of themselves because they think they're the only person that can take care of this individual, and so I cannot take a knee. I have to push forward because no one else is going to be for that person.
Yeah, I don't feel good, but I have to take care of my husband, my wife, my brother, my sister.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay. What resources does El Paso Behavioral Health System offer for members of the military who are no longer serving, but may be dealing, or their caregivers may be dealing with someone who has PTSD?
Yeah, so actually, El Paso Behavioral Health Systems has a Patriot Support Program that actually deal with veterans and their family. So it covers post-traumatic stress syndrome, and also we have a 28-day program that deals with substance abuse. So we actually have a dual diagnosis program that actually can treat a mental health illness and a chemical dependency problem all at the same time. On our military unit, which is separated from all other units that's in our facility, and we also have a dedicated women's unit as well for those female caregivers that doesn't like to be around the male population or so. So we have that on those units. We're doing CBT, DBT, EMDR, and ECT.
Can you explain those terms for us?
So,
That's an alphabet soup there.
Yeah. So those are modalities of therapy, what they're doing. And I do want to let you know that once therapy, if you feel like therapy is not working and medication is not working, that's when we can use what they call ECT. Our facility is the only facility in the whole West Texas that actually still do ECT, electroconvulsive therapy.
All right. Now, can family members, caregivers of a veteran also turn to the Veterans Administration for help, and what can they do? Do you work in conjunction with the VA?
Yes, I do. So I'm actually the chairman for the VAC, and the VAC stands for the Veteran Affairs Advisory Committee, and I'm also a representative for District 2 for veterans here. And I tell you that the VA actually just had a big event called the Borderplex Expo, and it was all geared towards caregiving. And so they actually have an initiative out there and a lot of support groups and peer support groups for caregivers in the VA that reaches out to facilities and that have like-minded people that's going through the same thing. And so they'll get these tools and techniques that they can deal with that loved one that's going through those times.
So then the VA locally can help those caregivers. They're not going to have to go out of town for any kind of help?
Negative. They do not have to go out of town. They literally can just either call the VA or they can go to the VA and tell them what's going on, and they probably have a program for them that they can use for caregiving.
Ron Jackson with El Paso Behavioral Health System, thank you for coming on ABC-7 Extra Sunday.
Thank you.
Thanks to all of my guests, and thanks to you for watching ABC-7 Extra Sunday. I'm Mark Ross. Stay safe, stay strong. I'll see you next Sunday night.